Evie Lavelle, owner and curator of the Little Hollow Living History Museum. Our next living history exhibit is actually a living fiction exhibit, science fiction. In 1978, science fiction author Bixby Carlyle checked into the Route 9 Motel right here in Little Hollow and stayed for 6 months. What brought him to our humble hamlet, you ask? He was working on a screenplay inspired by our history. Inspired in part by the unsolved murders of Delrico Swan and Boyd Kitchen, the Jigsaw Sugar Factory fire, and the disappearance of young Jeremy Kitchen in 1959, Mr. Carlyle's screenplay reimagined Jeremy Kitchen's story as a time travel adventure in which Jeremy stumbles into a time portal and ends up on a mission to save Little Hollow's past and his own future. Sadly, the movie was never filmed. In fact, Carlyle ripped up the screenplay and threw it away in the motel garbage. But some of it was saved from the trash by curious and intrepid motel staff, and our museum has procured a few non-sequential scenes and somewhat tore up pages from this extraordinary script. This script has everything: action, excitement, friendship, enemyship, cowboys, and an adventure through the past like nothing ever seen before. So it is my great pleasure to present to you a dramatic reading of the only surviving scenes from the unmade cinematic masterpiece, TIMEGATE 4000, The Infinity Paradox. Interior, Jigsaw Sugar Factory, February 14th, 1959. The basement of an industrial sugar factory in Tennessee. There is factory stuff and the things that belong in factories. We see Jeremy Kitchen, young, cool, one shoe untied, never on time for class, but he's a good kid. He steps into frame. Hero shot.
It's real. February 14th, 1959. It's all here, just like I remember.
Jeremy touches everything. He's a kid who's been through a lot, but still a kid. He sees an electrical cable, and then another, and then another. A strange light at the other end of the basement. Is this some kind of laboratory? Cut to Professor Bolt, brilliant, full of energy, and a touch of genius/madness. A man of science, but something darker underneath.
Who's there? Who are you?
I know this is going to sound crazy, but I'm from the future. Well, the past. Well, the future and the past. And there's going to be an explosion tonight. Will you help me stop it?
Are you alone?
Well, I thought if I could get back here and maybe stop the explosion from occurring, maybe the town would be saved.
Time jumping is a dangerous thing. It can cause entire towns to get destroyed, not to mention change the very fabric of history.
You know about time travel?
I invented it.
And you kept it a secret?
It's the thing about secrets, kid. Two people can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
Professor Bolt pushes Jeremy into the electrical field of his time experiment. Jeremy, trying to keep his balance, grabs at Professor Bolt. They both vanish. Electric sparks explode. The air catches fire, flames everywhere, until the entire factory is engulfed. The Jigsaw Sugar Factory is destroyed. And then we don't have any other pages until page 8, but like a lot of stuff must have happened in pages 2 through 7 because Jeremy has time traveled to the past now. Fade in. Exterior, spooky woods. Jeremy Kitchen wakes up in the woods, staring wildly around him. A voice in the distance.
I'm going into the lumber business. What do you think of that, Boyd Kitchen?
Jeremy recognizes the name Boyd Kitchen. He flips through his notebook, a page labeled 1902. Boyd Kitchen and Denver Bolt found the Kitchen Bolt Speculative Lumber Cooperation. He flips more pages to 1928. Boyd Kitchen shot and killed. Jeremy moves closer and sees Professor Bolt standing over an unconscious body. It's Boyd Kitchen. He looks exactly like Jeremy.
That's my grandfather.
Ah, Jeremy, I was wondering when you'd find me.
Is this when you created the TIMEGATE? When you and my grandfather bought this land?
My interest in the TIMEGATE is purely scientific. Science! Any destruction of the town is merely coincidental.
You have to stop.
No man can stop science.
Professor Bolt pulls a revolver from his pocket and aims it at Jeremy.
Go ahead, shoot. The fact that I'm standing here now means you don't succeed in killing me.
I see time travel has taught you a few things, but not enough. What about the grandfather paradox? You can't be here if you never existed in the first place.
He points his gun at Boyd Kitchen, lying on the ground. He shoots. He killed Boyd Kitchen.
No!
Jeremy begins to fall backwards. He's being sucked through the TIMEGATE involuntarily, and he can hear Professor Bolt laughing maniacally as he goes. And then we don't have pages 10 through 17, but page 18, exterior, day, a wild and unfamiliar jungle. No signs of human habitation. Suddenly, Jeremy Kitchen and Professor Bolt appear from thin air and land hard as though dropped from the sky. They look around, confused. Where are they?
Where are we?
All in due time.
This is no time for puns, Professor.
A thundering crash behind them. What is that? It is a dinosaur headed straight for them.
Run!
There are no dinosaurs in Little Hollow.
I'm afraid there were 75 million years ago.
The dinosaur lunges. Bolt and Jeremy scramble away. Jeremy barely getting to his feet before the dinosaur snaps its jaws closed. The dinosaur chases them as they run. The hungry dinosaur is almost on top of them. Professor Bolt pushes buttons on his time modulator, finally grabbing Jeremy's arm, and they disappear. Page 21. Fade in, a modern hospital. What year is this? Jeremy is lying in a hospital bed. A nurse is standing over him. The nurse is watching Jeremy sleep and is holding a giant hypodermic needle. Jeremy wakes with a start. The nurse hides the syringe.
You're awake. That's good.
Where am I? What year is it?
You had quite the head injury.
You're not a nurse.
Of course I am. Don't you see my scrubs? How else would I have scrubs if I'm not a nurse?
Anyone can buy those.
I have a name tag.
That says Tanya.
My name's Tanya.
It's you!
It's me.
The nurse was Professor Bolt all along.
You destroyed Little Hollow.
Don't you see? You destroyed Little Hollow.
How is that possible?
Science.
Professor Bolt draws a laser pistol and shoots at Jeremy, but Jeremy also draws a laser pistol and shoots at Professor Bolt.
Pew, 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 pew,
These next few pages don't have any numbers, but it's like a chase scene where they're shooting at each other with laser guns, so I think that's probably what comes next. Jeremy runs through a futuristic city, flying cars, androids, robot machines that give out free sandwiches. Jeremy is amazed by the future, but a laser blast explodes next to his head. Professor Bolt is here, and he has a super cool looking laser pistol, and he's shooting at Jeremy. Jeremy shoots back. A window shatters. Jeremy shoots. The professor shoots. Future people are screaming and running. The robot machine that gives out free sandwiches explodes.
I'll find a way to stop you, Professor Bolt.
You haven't been able to stop me over millions of years in hundreds of places. What makes you think you'll ever be able to?
I will never stop trying to prevent you from stealing the time modulator.
I already stole it!
Professor Bolt holds out a shiny, glowing electric watch. It's a time modulator.
When did you get it?
I'll tell you. Another time!
Professor Bolt disappears. Interior, a Wild West saloon. A mysterious cowboy sits at a table, all alone. The cowboy was Professor Bolt all along. Jeremy Kitchen rides through the swinging doors on his horse.
Hey, you can't bring that horse in here. Well, well, well. If it isn't Jeremy Kitchen, traveled all the way to the Old West to find me.
There's no place you can hide. No time I can't find you. With time to spare, now reach for the sky.
Suddenly, three mean-looking outlaws walk in and stand with Professor Bolt.
I think you're outgunned, Kitchen.
Jeremy draws his laser pistol, but the three mean outlaws all have laser pistols. Jeremy's outgunned, or is he? Jeremy presses a button on his horse, and the horse transforms into a giant laser Gatling gun. It's an Old West meets the future laser shootout. Exterior, a roof in a dystopian future city. Rain and neon and cool stuff everywhere, so much atmosphere. Jeremy is sitting on the edge of the roof next to a nurse. They are sharing a delicious looking dystopian future sandwich. They are lit by the moon.
I've come so far.
We all have.
I can't turn back now. They're relying on me. Everyone is. Everyone.
The forever ever time wars won't ever end here. We'll never know peace.
You make pretty good sandwiches, though.
I'm glad you like it. Because it's the last one you'll ever have.
The nurse was Professor Bolt all along. He shoves Jeremy off the edge of the roof. But Jeremy is standing right behind the professor.
What? How?
Science!
A rooftop shootout. Interior, Jigsaw Sugar Factory, February 14th, 1959.
We can't keep doing this.
Jeremy and Professor Bolt see an endless string of reflections of themselves, Bolts and Kitchens, killing each other, pulling each other into the gate, the factory exploding and desploding over and over again.
It's an endless whirlpool.
It's a temporal paradox Einstein-Rosen chain.
You're right. And we're just another link.
We must break the chain.
How do we do that? Professor, tell me, how do we stop the destruction of Little Hollow?
And that's it. That's all there is.
When you told us that was the end in rehearsal, we thought you were joking.
How can that be the end?
I don't think it's the end. That's just all we have.
We can't leave it like that. I have unanswered questions.
Yeah, like, why is it sort of preoccupied with sandwiches? Is anybody else seeing that?
Well, that's all the script we have.
We should make up the rest.
This is a museum.
I mean, yeah, sort of. But I mean, who's going to know?
Also, it kind of seems like you're maybe inventing the rules as you go, so...
All we have to do is throw in a whole bunch of sci-fi jargon nonsense and bring it to a dramatic yet inevitable conclusion.
Can you do that?
Definitely. I took Improv 1 at Comedy Sports Indianapolis instead of going to college. Ready?
Ready.
What do we do?
Take my hand.
What? Why?
We have to work together to save the town of Little Hollow. If we link together with another Professor Bolt and another Jeremy, and then they link together with another Professor Bolt and another Jeremy, and then they link together with another Professor Bolt and another Jeremy, and then they link together with another Professor Bolt and another Jeremy,
I get it.
and then they link together.
What will that do?
That should create enough energy to generate sufficiently charged chronons to degalvanize the modulator.
Nice jargon.
Thanks.
And then what happens?
We'll all throw our time modulators into the time void.
Oh, but what about the Novikov self-consistency principle?
We'll have to take that chance. We need a stage direction here.
Oh, yes. Yes, Jeremy takes Professor Bolt's hand.
Oh, Professor,
What?
I've had the time of my life.
Oh. The two men take each other's hands, as do all of the Jeremys and Professor Bolts, one after another, hand in hand and hand in hand and hand. It's like the end of the Grinch, but cooler and without singing. And then there's a glowing, bright white light, and then every version of them across time and space, they all throw their time modulators into the void because they're all tired of running through history, and all they want to do is save Little Hollow. And then there's a giant reverse explosion and the screen goes totally white. And then exterior, a beautiful park in the middle of Little Hollow. It's sunny, and there's like a butterfly and like some children playing with a ball or something, and a puppy runs by. And and then we see Jeremy and Professor Bolt at a picnic having delicious sandwiches.
How's your sandwich?
Pretty good, but I think maybe I should have picked the ham and cheese.
There's still time, Jeremy. Why? We have all the time in the world.
And then the music swells and the camera swoops up and away, and we can see that Little Hollow is saved for all time. Fade out.
Yes!
Yes!